Our first video in section 9.4 is learning objective B. We're going to divide rational expressions with monomials. If you remember us doing this back for 9.3 for multiplying, it is very similar. The only thing you're going to have to remember is how do you divide fractions. And let me show you what this rule right here means. If I give you a numerical example, let's say I want to take 3/4 and divide it by 1/2. What this rule says is you can take that format and all you do is you change the division to multiplication, but notice what happens. The original second fraction actually takes the reciprocal and you flip it. So all you have to do to division, keep the first fraction the same, change it to multiplication, and then take the reciprocal of the second one, so you have 2/1. Then you just multiply straight across like we used to, so 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 1 is 4, and you could simplify this to 3/2. So this concept is the only twist that we have to do for section 9.4. So let's look at the monomials now. Again, remember the difference between a monomial and a binomial. If this was a binomial, for example, this might look like x plus 1 as a binomial group over 10. If they're monomials, which is just one group, this is just like chapter 6, simplifying exponents. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rewrite x over 10, always keep the first fraction the same, change it to multiplication, and then take the reciprocal of this, just flip it. Then when you multiply two fractions, they just become 1. And then you can simplify like in chapter 6. So this is a single x, this is two x's, so I can get rid of this one x, and I can get rid of one of these x's over here, which will just leave me with a regular x. So I'll just do that. Number-wise, I can pull a 5 out of both the 10 and 25. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 15 divided by 5 is 5. And I just write what's left over. On the top, there's only this 5. On the bottom, there's just a 2x. And that is our final answer. Let's revisit again if you struggle simplifying 25 over 10. If you don't naturally see how it simplifies, remember, just restate these as factors. 25 is the same as 5 times 5. 10 is 5 times 2. Now if you look at these, is there anything you can naturally cross off? Obviously we can cross off the 5s. When you do that, we're going to be left with 5 over 2, and that's where this comes from and how you simplify it. Let's just look at one more of this. Again, let's just do rewrite the first fraction, change it to multiplication, and do the reciprocal. I can make it one big problem by doing this. And let's say I wanted to multiply the numbers together first. Let's do that instead. I'm going to do x times 3 is 3x. I'm going to do 6 times 2 is 12 over x. You can do that and then simplify. These two x's cross out, and then I have 3 over 12. Be careful, you can pull a 3 out. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Notice the 4 is on the bottom of the fraction. Keep it down there. And notice there's nothing else on the top but a 1. A very common wrong answer would to write the answer as being 4. That's not correct. The 4 is right in the bottom of the fraction in the denominator, so it must stay there. This is our final answer.